In this video, I'm showing you how to change the rear brakes, so that's the pads and the discs on this BMW 3 Series. I've also included in the description, I've wrote down a step-by-step guide and what tools you need as well, so check the description if you want to read through that. Now, before we do anything, we need to get rid of this tyre, like so. Now, the first thing you want to do is take off this little rattle clip here that I'm pointing to now. So what you need to do, you need to push it that way, as you can see, push it outwards, and then you can get the screwdriver behind and lever it towards you. So I found this a bit more helpful with two screwdrivers. And I actually took it out off camera because you need two hands to do this, and obviously I was holding the camera with one, but it's easy enough to get out. Now the next thing you have to do is go behind the caliper, and here there's just a dust cap. There's one on the top and there's one on the bottom, so you can just pull it out. You can use the screwdriver, but you can get it out with your hands, as you can see now. Except if I just dropped it under the car, that's great. There it is. And that's what it looks like. It's just a little rubber cap. And now to get the one from the bottom as well. Can't quite see it on the camera, but it's there. You'll feel it. Anyway, I dropped that one as well, but there we are, both of them out. That's what they look like. I'll pop them to one side. Now you need some hex bits to get the bolts out from the caliper, so it's a hex 7 you need. I find it useful to get a long one and a short one because the access is quite awkward behind the caliper, so it's easier just to grab the two. Now this is my setup for behind the caliper. So I've gone with obviously just a standard ratchet, and I've gone for the small hex bit on this one. Try and get that back in now. There you are. Now the access is quite awkward doing this off the floor, but you can do it, it's just a little bit awkward, that's all. Now this is for the bottom caliper sliding pin, and as you can see the access is even worse because the suspension arm is in the way, and you got to yank it up because it's quite tight, and see I smacked my hand on the suspension arm, which is great, because yeah, there's just not enough room to work in, but you need to pull it up like so. Once you've got the first bit off, it's fine, you can undo it. Now once you've got them loose, you can just do the rest by hand. You can just pop them out like so. And now do the same for the bottom one. I find a little trick is to pull it out with the hex bit whilst you're twisting. Because if you can't quite grab it with your fingers when you've got the hex bit connected to it, try and pull it out, and it will eventually come out. Just being a little bugger. And I'll make sure to give them a good clean before we pop them back in the caliper when we reassemble it. Now we can actually lift the caliper off. Obviously the piston is compressed against the pads, so what I find useful is get a pry bar or a screwdriver and slowly start to pry it off. Now, if you keep giving it a little shake and a little wobble side to side, it will come off eventually. And that pad shouldn't be stuck on like that. That's how badly it's been rusted. It should be loose. It shouldn't even be sitting in the caliper, this front one. It's crazy. Now, to get this brake pad off that sits in the piston, you need two hands. You actually just need to pull it towards you and the metal clips pop out of the piston. I just couldn't do it with one hand whilst holding the camera. It's really awkward to hold the caliper and pull the brakes off at the same time. But yeah, you just literally need to pull it towards you and it'll unclip. Now you want to hang this up out of the way onto a solid surface. You do not want to let it hang by the brake line because you will damage it. And let's just take a look at the old pads we took off. So yeah, definitely past their date. I mean, there's still material left on them, but when you press the brakes, they're just scratching and there's metal on the disc. So definitely need to change in. Now, the next thing you need to do is take off this brake bracket, caliper bracket, whatever it's called. There's two bolts holding it in, one at the bottom and one at the top, as you can see here. And you need a 16mm size socket to get the bolts. Now, once you've got it on, you need to pull it up. Now, I've already given it a good tug off of camera because they're on really tight. You need to get your strength behind it to lift it up. But once you've loosened it off, it's easy. Then you can just, undo it all the way. Same as the bottom one, you need to lift up and loosen it until the bolt comes free. Once you've got the bolts out, this simply just pulls off. You can see how mucky and dirty this is, so you are going to have to wire brush it before we put it back on the car. Next thing to do is you need to grab your 6mm hex bit, and that goes into the little screw that's holding the disc on, or the rotor if you're American. Just pops in here, and then you just get a normal ratchet and loosen it. Now you need to actually make sure you've got your handbrake off now, because that pinches the rotor to obviously make the wheels stop. So have that off, and then if it is still tight on there, as they normally get rust welded on when they're this rusted, you just smack it with a good old hammer until it comes loose. Now eventually came loose. Just need to be patient and keep hitting it, and it will free up. They're just rust weld on so bad when they're left this long. And as you can see, the condition, like, there's a lot of scoring in there. So yeah, definitely need to change it. Now I always find it's a good time to give it a good clean behind it as you've got the discs off. So get some brake cleaner and just spray everywhere. It's always good to keep it clean, isn't it? Because we're reusing the brake bracket, it's a good idea to give it a good clean with a wire brush, especially in the bits where the brake pads actually slide onto, and everywhere really. Just give it a good old wire brush, spray some brake cleaner on it as well. I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera, but as you can see, that was just a gentle brushing. You can see how much goop and mess and crap is coming off. So definitely do this, because this is the part where the top of the brake pads hold in. So you need to clean that up. Anything you're reusing off the car, you need to give it a good clean as well. So like the caliper sliding pins definitely need doing. You see how much black carbon buildups on there. And it's a good idea to do the bolts as well. Before reassembling it all now, you need to make sure you push the piston back in to the caliper, because obviously the new brake pads are a lot thicker and they won't fit. So all I done was get the old pad with the metal plate, and I just used my hands and pushed it together. So I couldn't be bothered to faff with the rewind tool. Now it's time for the exciting bit. Look how shiny and clean the new pad, the blah 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 blah, the new discs look, eh? Or the new rotors. They look awesome. Now you can see how much oil and grease is on there. Look at my hand. So get some brake cleaner and spray it everywhere, because you need to do this. Otherwise, if you put your new pads against it, it's just going to be stopping against a greasy surface, and that's not going to go very well now, is it? So yeah, give it a good spray, and then get some tissue or whatever and wipe it off. The reason why they cover it in grease and oil is stop it rusting whilst it's in the packaging, that's all. Next thing to do before you put the new disc on is get some copper grease and pop it on the face in here. So this just stops the rotor or disc from rust welding itself on basically the next time. So if you need to change them again in the future, it should be a bit easier to come off. Now I probably should be wearing gloves, but I haven't got any, so you know, don't shout at me for using my fingers. Now look how good that looks already, man. Once you've got it on, you literally just pop it over the hub and put the 6mm hex bit screw back into its place. And you just do it till it's tight. It literally doesn't need much at all. There you are. Done already. Just to check to see if it spins freely. Oh, it looks so good, man. Then obviously make sure you clean the front side as well, because it has the grease on. I do this now, but I'll do it again after I've reassembled the caliper and everything, because you will touch it and get it dirty again. But you can see how much comes off there. Now this is awkward to show you on the camera, but you know where you know where the bolts are that you took it out, so you know which holes they line up on. But I'll try and show you. You can see, just push it behind the bolt holes. It is awkward with one hand because there's no bolts holding it in, so it is just gonna gradually fall off. But if you take it out, you can put it back on. Now it's good to put some copper grease on these bits now. Remember, like I said before, where the brake pads actually rest into. You need to grease them up because when you press the brakes and it moves the pads, they'll be rubbing across this metal surface and it will cause squeaks if it's not greased up. So make sure you get a good amount in there. Obviously, do not get it on the disc because you do not want it on that, because that's not going to help you stop, is it? So do be careful when you're applying it. But make sure you just get it into the grooves of this brake bracket. And just to be awkward, I'm going to try and show you how to put the brake pad back into the piston on the caliper one-handed. And you can see I can't even balance it on my leg very well, but yeah, I don't want to let it hang by that brake line, so you know, I've got my leg wedged in there for now. But with the brake pad, you need to copper grease the edges that sit into the brake bracket as well. I have done it, only needed a little bit because obviously I've put the bulk of it on the bracket. But yeah, this is what I mean. So see the metal clips, you just need to push that into the piston. Can't do it with one hand, did it off camera, but this is what it looks like. You know, simple enough, just push it in. And there's the copper grease on the ends, like I told you. Don't need much if you've done the brake bracket anyway, but it's always good just to get it on there. And it slides in like that. Now you hope that that doesn't fall whilst you try and get the caliper into place. Again, it's a lot easier with two hands, but hey ho, I'm recording, so now you can see why you need to push the piston back in, because these new brake pads are thick. And you just want to try and line it up to the caliper sliding pin holes. And then it's good to copper grease these as well, because that will stop your caliper from sticking, which is always useful. So don't obviously copper grease the threads, just the metal pin itself. And then you just need to line them up and screw it back up. We're going to line up like this and be done, to be honest. We're going to test right after I'm anyway. We're going to test right after I'm washed anyway. Yeah. As well. So I can see the whole through the camera. Like down there, yeah. So it actually helps me seeing. Okay. Once you've got all the bolts tightened up nicely, you just need to grab the dust caps again and make sure you pop them on. You don't want to forget them. And the bottom one. Try and show you on like where it is. You know where it is, you took it off. Like, it's quite hard to get the camera around here, but you can see. Make sure you just pop it in and it clips in all the way. And the very last thing you need to do is put this rattle clip back in. See if I can do it with one hand on the camera. You just need to line it up like this and push There, I'll push that back into the holes, top and the bottom, so it's in there nicely. And very last thing again is just give it a quick clean with the brake cleaner. Just if you've marked it with your hands, your greasy hands, just give it another clean and a wipe over. And then you can stand back and admire all the work you've just done. Now look at this for a comparison, eh? Out of the old rusty, crusty one, in with the nice new shiny one. Look how good that looks, man. Look how good that looks. Looks awesome. And with a bit of magic, let's get the tyre back on. There you have it. Job done. Now, if you've stuck around and watched the video to the end, thanks very much. If you found it helpful and useful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for future content. I think after doing that, I really want to paint the calipers because the calipers look a bit minging now compared to the nice new brakes. So maybe in a future video, I'll paint them. Don't know what colour, maybe blue to match the bodywork. But thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.